What is going on, my lovely ladies and gentlemen of the world? I have recorded one of the worst gameplay videos I have ever recorded in my life with this game, but you're gonna have to wait to see that because I want to explain to you some things about this game. Because if that is your first introduction to Under Night and Birth EXE late, suffice to say, it's not a good first impression. So let me give you a good first impression first. Then you can look at me getting my ass beat like the pathetic player that I am, and judge me harshly based on my own performance and not on the game. So let's talk about this game. Now, I am begging you, on hands and knees, pleading with you. If you have PlayStation Plus and you do not have this game digitally, please go and download this game. It is free for the month of March. It's a wonderful game, one of the best fighting games I've ever played, and I will explain to you why that is so. But firstly, I must give you the second part of that. If you do not have PlayStation Plus, go buy it solely to download this game. Suffice to say, if you enjoy fighting games at all, and you have PlayStation Plus and you have never tried UNIEL, you are doing yourself a disservice to not at least try out this game. So let's talk about it. Firstly, number one, it's a little imbalanced. As anime fighting games are wont to be. I don't think I've ever played a truly well-balanced anime fighting game. Like, you either lean toward the level of Guilty Gear, where like everybody is so broken that nobody's terrible. You lean toward BlazBlue, where everything is just all over the place. You have a few trash characters, you have a few godlike characters, and then everybody else is strewn in between in various degrees of capability. You have, Persona 4 Arena, which is somewhat similar to Guilty Gear, except they somehow managed to make it so that the people that were broken were severely broken, and then the people that were, like, bad were just not broken in any way, shape, or form, and they just got run over by the people that were broken. But suffice to say, with how many mechanics are generally flying around in an anime fighting game, it's a little difficult to balance them properly. That being said, I do believe this is decently well balanced in that, like, you do have a definitive... Well, I don't know for certain that the definitive top 3 back when I was paying attention to the game is still the definitive top 3. And it's a little hard to tell because everybody's moved on, or at least everybody competitive has either moved on to a new game if they don't live in Japan, or if they do live in Japan, has moved on to the new version of the game, which has received a bunch of balance changes. But to my knowledge, you have the top 3 characters: Gordeau, Merkava, I skipped over Waldstein. Those 3 characters are the definitive top 3, and then you have a bunch of characters that are kind of just right underneath them, who are still fully capable, but are a little disadvantaged against these top 3. So that would be characters like Lina, Carmine is incredibly good, Batista, Yuzuriha, Byakuya is a bit further down. I believe Eltnum is very strong, Hilda's very good, and that's kind of it. And then you have like the middle of the road characters, which Hyde is definitely there. I would put Seth and Eltnum at kind of more or less the Ori as well, kind of middle of the road. And then you have characters who are just really far down, who don't shine much at all, and that is Seth. Well, Seth's really difficult. He's fairly difficult to play, but he has some very dirty stuff available to him. So I don't know. Nanase, really, ultimately, I'll show you, but like, if the hitboxes of her moves match the animation for them, she would actually be significantly better and might actually be a legitimate threat, but they don't. Chaos, I'm not actually sure what his problem is. I just know pretty much everybody considers him bottom tier. And Akatsuki is just, he has essentially no dangerous neutral game whatsoever, and his offensive pressure is fairly slow and cumbersome. And when you combine those 2 factors into an anime fighting game, you don't have a frightening character in any way whatsoever. But let us talk about mechanics of the game. So firstly, 4-button layout similar to BlazBlue. However, unlike BlazBlue, the D button is universal for everybody. And then you have the 3 attack buttons, A, B, and C. And so, the offensive buttons kind of sort of work as Gatlings, in that you can generally use each button once in either a block string or a combo. So like I can do all of that, and I was just, you know, 5, I don't know, I can't even remember what order I did it in, but it was like 2A, 5A, 5B, 2B, 5C, 2C, something like that. But if you try to do 2 of them and 2 normals in the same combo, so like you see me trying to do another 2B in there, doesn't work. However, you can go backwards. So like if, let's say, somebody's blocking, a very traditional block string in this game is to keep one of your A buttons unused, so that if they block all of your pressure, you can then cancel into whatever button you did not press, and so you generally recover faster that way. That being said, every character has one button that they can hit over and over, and I believe that's generally 2A for everybody, because if you hit 5A over and over, you can just get a magic series auto combo. So I believe 2A is that button for everybody, but I have not played everybody in this cast, so I cannot be completely sure. Yeah, screwed that up, I knew it. So then the D button. So I mean, you know, these cause attacks. Let's actually not talk about the D button first. Let's finish talking about attacks. So combinations of buttons. Can't remember what each one does. Okay, here we go. B and C pressed together give you each character has a special thing. So for Nanase, she gets this kind of like floaty thing, which allows her to fall slower in the air. And you can actually see, you can kind of use it for some dirty not instant overheads, but overhead stuff. You can actually also use it, I think you can use it, yeah, as a jump cancel as well. But what you may notice, I never knew backdashing took away grid. So if you look at the bottom, the grid thing right there, I'll go into more detail later. But if you notice, every time you use that B and C function, it takes 1 bar of the grid away. So you got to be careful with that, because grid is very important. And I'll get into it in a bit once I start talking about the D button. The other button combination is A and D. That's just your throw. It's also how you throw tech. Is there anything that does A and C do anything? No. And then C and D does nothing, right? Cool. So every character also has a universal dashing, 2 normals that are universal for dashing. Dashing B, dashing C. I believe these are unique for everybody in UNIEL. Like, I know, for instance, in the follow-up to this version, which is called Unist, Gordeau has a 5-5B that, like, he does a kind of a straight kick, and he actually got that as a usable normal in Unist. But as far as I'm aware, right now, in UNIEL, every single one of these moves is unique, so Nanase actually gets kind of a 50-50 mix-up off of hers, because this is a low, and this is a high. So everybody has those. And I think that's kind of more or less it. Well, charging. Okay, so every single character has chargeable moves. I'm trying to think. I don't think Nanase has any grounded chargeable moves. It'll probably tell me her command list now that I think about it. Maybe not. It does not show me. So it does show me command normals that she has, but it does not show me which buttons she can use to charge. So every character in the game has a button they can charge. Some of them give them different functions. So, for instance, a lot of them have a grounded button. Gordeau has 5C, for instance. Byakuya has 3C. So a lot of characters have grounded normals, which give them unique properties if you charge them up. So, like, for instance, Gordeau and Byakuya, their moves become overheads if you charge them. Nanase has this in the air, which causes that little bit of a kind of floating state. So that's actually how you do a bunch of her combos, is using that to float it, and then you can use that for various juggles and whatnot. So that is a mechanic as well. So let's just get into the D button now. 3 unique things you can do with the D button. The first is just standing here, and this, as you can see from the grid, it just automatically charges the grid. That's all that it does. But grid possession is so important that that can be a viable tactic if, like, somebody's just trying to run away from you all match, to just sit here and just take the grid. And, like, they're going to be in trouble if they do that, because if you have ownership of the grid, which you can see because the icon is glowing in my color, you basically get a rapid cancel style of stuff. So the thing that's good about that is that if you own it, that's a reversal. Now I just got a reversal for free that I can cancel whenever I need to. You can also use it to get far better combos, to run better pressure. I mean, like, if you've played an anime fighting game before, you've used some type of mechanic similar to that. You know how potent it is. You don't need me to tell you about it. The other if you do 60, you get this little hop, this little command hop thing, which actually, if I remember correctly, it does prorate your combos a little bit more than if you had done like a normal version. Wait, let me just get to there. So that did 2051 versus 2132. I can't even remember if I did the same combo, but I do know I started with this. Let me just do basic magic series. So I did 2132. Whoops, pressed the wrong button. That did 1525. So this does prorate your combo fairly significantly if you use this first. That's the downside to it. The upside to it is that it can actually, if you use it properly, can actually be fairly, like Nanase's JB is actually really, got a really good hitbox to it, so you can actually kind of, though it looks like you can't cancel it into something else, whereas if you were doing a normal jump, you totally can. So there are downsides to it, but, you know, it allows you to maintain pressure, it allows you to throw out a quick overhead, stuff like that. Very important things. The third mechanic is it gives you this, something that is similar to barrier blocking. Now let me just program. That, and now let me make him do that. So actually, if I just keep mashing this in between each, you see it's pushing him back a little bit each time it activates, as well as it's giving me a ton of grid meter each time I use it. Notice how much grid I'm getting? Now the downside to this is that if I am doing that, and somebody hits me, God damn it. Notice, wait, why is my, wait, what? Hang on. Let me try this again. Hang on. There it is. Okay, so it must have been because I had just done something right there. So you notice how at the bottom, let me actually turn this off the dummy playback. My grid thing is all shattered and stuff. That means I no longer gain grid, as well as I no longer have access to any of my D-move functions. So there is a downside to it. Now here's the upside. Let me venerate this to the best of my ability. This also causes an instant block-like function, which means you recover from... Oh, I actually didn't notice. If you look down there, it's actually taking my meter a little... It's only if you hold it. So if you just briefly tap it, it's all good. But if you hold it down, it does take your meter. So that's something to consider. Did not know that. But it provides an instant block type function as well, where you recover from block stun a little bit faster if you grid block it like that. However, it does not require anywhere near the strictness that instant blocking does, where you have to basically train yourself to properly instant block certain block strings. You just have to hit D while you're blocking. And then if you get mixed up and you don't block something, there's a big detriment to it that the opponent gets to capitalize on. But if you don't want to use, like, it isn't this huge necessary anyway. I don't want to get into it too much because it just leads to me shitting on other Arc System Works games. I shouldn't say other Arc System Works games. They only published this game. They didn't develop it themselves. Suffice to say, I love how French Bread did their system of instant blocking, and I really appreciate it. So, that's the grid. Oh, you also get, while you have grid, notice how like that bonus damage thing pops up. So if I don't have it, oh, I guess it lasts while it's still, so that now notice how I don't have any bonus damage anymore. So while you have control of the grid, you also have bonus damage. So that grid thing is a very, very important aspect of the game that you want to manipulate to the best of your ability. Oh my god. Can you not, like, hop over? Oh, I see. You have to do it like that. Alright. What else is there to talk about? There is a system called Veil Off. Whenever you have more than 100 meter, you can do that. And you see it kind of causes a little blowback function. You can't use it while you're in block zone, so it doesn't really serve as a burst. Think of it kind of like a goal burst, almost. And you get even more bonus damage while this is active. As well as the fact that you kind of, sort of get... I mean, I shouldn't say... You get unlimited access to meter. But... Notice how that only took a little bit? So like you saw, I was able to do 3 full supers for 200 meter because I had Veil Off. So it gives you that as well. Oh, also, I forgot, you can actually see he's grid broken down there. Whenever you land Veil Off against somebody, it automatically grid breaks the opponent. So that's really good. It's a little slow, so it isn't entirely reliable, and obviously people will bait it from you, but it's still a very potent thing if you do manage to land it. Let's see, what else? Oh, so there's also something you can do. When you are below 30% HP, either if you have 200 meter, and so that's fully invincible. Most characters have a method to combo into it. I'm actually not sure. Now I'm thinking about it. Let me actually try something. But you can actually see after you use it, you grid break yourself. So kind of somewhat important to make sure if you're going to use that, you finish the opponent off with it. Let me try. I'm trying to think. I'm actually not sure. Like, will he get knocked out if I... Oh my god, Nate. You have to hold down a button. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, so that did work. Okay, so now I want to try one other thing. See if it works as well. Oh my god. You actually have to wait for an odd amount of time after jumping before you can actually start charging the button. You wouldn't think so. But not too long or you drop the combo. Nope, that didn't work. What else could I do? Can you actually, now that I'm thinking about it... No, you'd have to have Veil Off, and that wouldn't really work. Maybe. Let me try something. I guess I don't really need... No, okay, that didn't really work as I wanted it to. Maybe if I grid canceled it... That might actually work. Can I make it so that it automatically gives me grid? That didn't quite work. What if? What if? Maybe I want to wait for a little bit. Maybe not. What am I doing? Why did it work the first time and now I can't get it to work at all? Can you jump into it? No. Oh, there's no way that's going to work. Why do I keep doing it that way? Jesus. Do it the opposite way. Just work. Oh no, that wasn't airborne, so that's definitely not going to work. Alright, screw it. I'm just going to do... Wait, I can't. Crap. Dash, would you? Oh, that's actually another thing I forgot to mention. You can dash with buttons in this game. You hold. Forget it. Forget it. I give up. Is there anything else we want to talk about? I'm trying to think. I mean, other than modes, but like, I mean, it has the traditional fighting game modes. It's got an arcade mode. It's got a verse mode, verse CPU mode, network mode, score attack, time attack, survival training. I actually can't remember. I think customize. It's not. You don't really customize. You just kind of. I actually want to give myself a new, because I don't want to use Nanase anymore. So let me just go with. Let's go with Mabe. Let's go with. Let's trick him. Let's go with Waldstein. Waldstein's just staring down at Yusuriha. That's cool. So everybody actually has 10? That's 5 times 2, right? Has 10 colors unlocked right out the gate, and they have another 10 unlockable colors as well beyond that. But yeah, it's not really, like, you're not customizing your character or anything beyond preset colors. But you do have that. Oh, I should actually check it out and see. Do people still upload replays? Can I check that out? Totally can! I can do a replay theater for UNIEL! And look at that, there's a lot of them too. Dang, son. Let me actually just go check. Oh, hey, that's a new one. So most of the time, unfortunately, in my experience, when you come over here and you see stuff like this isn't because there aren't rooms available. It's because generally when there are, like, there's probably, I would say, around 4 or 5 lobbies running right now, if not more. Like, I don't actually know. I've never seen them all. But countless times, like, if you just sit here and you just keep checking, lobbies will pop up because there are a handful of full lobbies at the moment, and you just gotta kind of wait for them to stop. So, like, don't be fooled if you see something like this and think, like, oh man, nobody's playing right now. I've also seen a scattering of people playing ranked mode, not many, nothing to be dependable, but I've definitely never not seen player, well, I shouldn't say never, in like evening PST EST times, I have not seen player match rooms not be available to some degree. So there's definitely people playing, there's definitely people you can play against. You just gotta find the right type, because there are definitely monsters floating around in the shallow waters right now, waiting to just snap up on somebody unsuspecting. Because I have played against people that have played tens of thousands of matches with their main character, and those are not people that you can just hop on and play against and feel good about playing, you know? But ultimately, I mean, this is top 3 overall fight. I actually would say probably number 2 overall favorite fighting game. That's tough. Chrono Phantasma 1.0 pre-Kokanoe and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was also, I would say, tainted a little bit by the status of my own personal capabilities at the time, where, like, maybe I thought a lot better of it than I would now because I was less adept at fighting games in general. Like, I was really bad back then. Like, because just to kind of highlight this specifically, I remember struggling to get the 10 wins in a row in ranked achievement back when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out. Then Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 rolled around, and I got it in 10 matches. Like, there was a significant amount of improvement in my capabilities as a fighting game player between then and when Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out. And then Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had, like, I mean, it had Virgil, it had the changes to Doom, it had so much that I was just like, God damn it, I can already see where this game is going. The only thing I could not see early on was Morrigan, but I saw the rest of it, and I was not pleased with that. And so, like, it's kind of weird because X Factor was so much better surprisingly, really surprising that X Factor was even better in vanilla Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but I actually feel like the amount of character viability was a lot higher in vanilla Marvel than it was in Ultimate. But then you also have to look at, again, that game only had a few months to really develop and flourish. And that's not enough for a game to settle into kind of, like, look at where Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is. The kind of teams people played originally versus the kind of teams anybody who still plays that game plays now. Completely different world. So, like, a few months, even a few years, is nowhere near enough time to allow a game's meta to settle and truly develop itself. And, but anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. Suffice to say, this is definitely in my top 3 fighting games. I'm terrible at picking a favorite. I am absolutely, you ask me anything. What is your favorite anything? And I probably don't have an actual answer for you. I have plenty of things that I can just pull up and be like, oh yeah, sure, that's my favorite, but like, I don't actually mean it, if that makes sense, because there's just so much, and I just, like, I kind of feel on the same level of goodness about so many things that I can't really declare any single one my absolute favorite. So, that being said, saying something is definitively in my top 3 is very high praise, I think. And this game is definitely there. I truly enjoy this game, and so I implore you to try it out yourself, because when I first saw it, when I was first looking at it, I did not think I would enjoy it. I thought it would be a short little pastime that might fill up a month or so, and instead it was a short little pastime that filled up a month or so because everybody that played it imported it and stopped playing it, like, I don't know, whatever came out later that they could have imported. Was it GGXR sign that came out that really kind of killed it? I can't remember. But I do remember, like, some other game became importable about a month into this game's lifespan, and the community just dipped and was gone, and I was so sad because I really, truly did greatly love my time with this game. And now it's come back again, and the possibility of being able to dive into it again is really exciting. And so, like, just, I can't even remember the last time I talked positively, just pure positivity about a game. And you know that as well. Like, I have shit all over BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, all of the flaws that I find inherent in those game systems. Like, I just don't really have them here. I just love this game. And so please, if you have the ability, check it out yourself, because you may very well find yourself thinking the same way. And it's a really cool thing. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Peace.